An apostolic vicariate is a form of territorial jurisdiction of the Roman Catholic Church established in missionary regions and countries where a diocese has not yet been established. It is essentially provisional, though it may last for a century or more. The hope is that the region will generate sufficient numbers of Catholics for the Church to create a diocese. In turn, the status of apostolic vicariate is often a promotion for a former apostolic prefecture. While either may have started out as a mission sui iuris institution, an apostolic vicariate is led by a vicar apostolic who is usually a titular bishop. While such a territory can be classed as a particular church, according to Canon 371.1 of the Latin Code of Canon Law, a vicar apostolic's jurisdiction is an exercise of the jurisdiction of the Pope. The territory thus comes directly under the Pope as universal bishop, and the Pope exercises this authority through a vicar. This is unlike the jurisdiction of a diocesan bishop, whose jurisdiction derives directly from his office. Like any ecclesiastical jurisdiction, an apostolic vicariate may be administered by the bishop of a neighboring diocese, or by a priest appointed transitionally as an apostolic administrator. As in a regular diocese, the vicar apostolic may appoint priests as vicars exercising limited jurisdiction over the apostolic vicariate. Normally, however, an apostolic vicariate is administered by a titular bishop of its own. When someone who doesn't qualify is appointed ad interim, he may be styled pro-apostolic vicar. An apostolic vicariate is to be distinguished from an apostolic prefecture, a similar type of territory whose chief distinction from an apostolic vicariate is that its prefect is not a bishop but a mere priest. The latter is not organized enough to be elevated to apostolic vicariate. The less developed instance is the mission sui iuris, which other than the ones mentioned before is not a particular church, although it shares some similarities to one. At its head, an ecclesiastical superior is named. The usual sequence of development is mission, apostolic prefecture, apostolic vicariate, and finally diocese. See also Apostolic Exarch for an Eastern Catholic counterpart. The apostolic vicariate is distinguished from a territorial abbacy, an area not a diocese but under the direction of the abbot of a monastery. List of apostolic vicariates. Inactive apostolic vicariates are in italics. Eastern Catholic Apostolic Vicariates are in bold. Europe Bulgarian Catholic Apostolic Vicariate of Constantinople, a former Ottoman Empire. Apostolic Vicariate of Gibraltar. Apostolic Vicariate of Istanbul, Turkey. Bulgarian Catholic Apostolic Vicariate of Macedonia, a former Ottoman Empire. Apostolic Vicariate of Marka, Croatia. Apostolic Vicariate of Northern Germany. Apostolic Vicariate of Scotland, UK. Vicariate Apostolic of Thessaloniki, Theta Epsilon Sigma Sigma Alpha Lambda Omicron Nu Iota Kappa Eta Sigma, Greece. Bulgarian Catholic Apostolic Vicariate of Tracia, a former Ottoman Empire. The Americas Apostolic Vicariate of Agarico, Ecuador. Apostolic Vicariate of Alaska. Apostolic Vicariate of San Jose de Amazonas. Apostolic Vicariate of Athabasca. Apostolic Vicariate of Ayacuten, Chile. Apostolic Vicariate of Beni. Apostolic Vicariate of Bluefields, Nicaragua. Apostolic Vicariate of Camiri, Bolivia. Apostolic Vicariate of Caroni, Venezuela. Apostolic Vicariate of Casanare. Apostolic Vicariate of Chaco, Paraguay, Paraguay. Apostolic Vicariate of Darien, Panama. Apostolic Vicariate of El Beni, Bolivia. Apostolic Vicariate of El Petén, Guatemala. Apostolic Vicariate of Esmeraldas, Ecuador. Vicariate, Vicariate of Galapagos, Ecuador. Apostolic Vicariate of Gojira. Apostolic Vicariate of Guapi, Colombia. Apostolic Vicariate of Isles Saint-Pierre-et-Miquelon, Saint-Pierre-et-Miquelon. Apostolic Vicariate of Inirida, Colombia. Apostolic Vicariate of Iquitos, Peru. Apostolic Vicariate of Izabal, Guatemala. Apostolic Vicariate of Jaaquten in Peru, San Francisco, Javier. Apostolic Vicariate of Kiwatan. Apostolic Vicariate of Leticia, Colombia. Apostolic Vicariate of Limon, Costa Rica. Apostolic Vicariate of Lower California. Apostolic Vicariate of Maquis, Venezuela. Apostolic Vicariate of Marysville. Apostolic Vicariate of Mackenzie. Apostolic Vicariate of Mende, Ecuador. Apostolic Vicariate of Mito, Colombia. Apostolic Vicariate of Montevideo, Uruguay. Apostolic Vicariate of Napo, Ecuador. Apostolic Vicariate of Nuflo de Chavez, Bolivia. Vicariate Apostolic of Pando, Bolivia. Apostolic Vicariate of Pilcomayo, Paraguay. Apostolic Vicariate of Pucallpa, Peru. Apostolic Vicariate of Puerto Ayacucho, Venezuela. Apostolic Vicariate of Puerto Carreño, Colombia. Apostolic Vicariate of Puerto Gaitán, Colombia. Apostolic Vicariate of Puerto Maldonado, Peru. Apostolic Vicariate of Puyo, Ecuador. Apostolic Vicariate of Reyes, Bolivia. Apostolic Vicariate of Requena, Peru. Apostolic Vicariate of Riohacha, Colombia. Apostolic Vicariate of San Andre y Providencia, Colombia. Apostolic Vicariate of San Gabriel de la Dolorosa del Maranon, Peru. Apostolic Vicariate of San José de Amazonas, Peru. Apostolic Vicariate of San José del Guaviare, Colombia. Apostolic Vicariate of San Miguel de Sucumbíos, Ecuador. Apostolic Vicariate of San Ramón, Peru. Apostolic Vicariate of San Vicente Puerto Leguizamo, Colombia. Apostolic Vicariate of Sucumbíos. Apostolic Vicariate of Tierra Dentro, Colombia. Apostolic Vicariate of Trinidad, Colombia. Apostolic Vicariate of Tucupita, Venezuela. Apostolic Vicariate of Ucali, Peru. Apostolic Vicariate of Yurimaguas, Peru. Apostolic Vicariate of Zamora, Ecuador. Asia. Apostolic Vicariate of Amoy. Apostolic Vicariate of Anatolia, Turkey. Apostolic Vicariate of Aleppo, Syria. Apostolic Vicariate of Batavia, Indonesia. Apostolic Vicariate of Beirut, Lebanon. Apostolic Vicariate of Bontoc Lagor, Philippines. Apostolic Vicariate of Brunei Darussalam, Brunei. Apostolic Vicariate of Calapan, Philippines. Apostolic Vicariate of Changanacheri, India. Apostolic Vicariate of Ernakulam. Apostolic Vicariate of Jolo, Philippines. Apostolic Vicariate of Kangnan, China. Apostolic Vicariate of Korea. Apostolic Vicariate of Kottayam. Apostolic Vicariate of Luang Prabang, Laos. Apostolic Vicariate of Madras, India. Apostolic Vicariate of Nepal, Nepal. Apostolic Vicariate of Northern Arabia, Kuwait, Qatar, Bahrain and Amp, Saudi Arabia. Apostolic Vicariate of Northern Kansu, China. Apostolic Vicariate of Northern Shanxi, China. Apostolic Vicariate of Northern Shantung, China. Apostolic Vicariate of Paksay, Laos. Apostolic Vicariate of Patna, India. Apostolic Vicariate of Phnom Penh, Cambodia. Vicariate Apostolic of Puerto Princesa, Philippines. Vicariate Apostolic of Quetta, Pakistan. Apostolic Vicariate of San Jose in Mindoro, Philippines. Apostolic Vicariate of Savannakhe, Laos. Apostolic Vicariate of Southern Arabia, Oman, United Arab Emirates and Amp, Yemen. Apostolic Vicariate of Southern Shanxi, China. Apostolic Vicariate of Southern Shantung, China. Apostolic Vicariate of Southern Shanxi, China. Apostolic Vicariate of Tabuk, Philippines. Apostolic Vicariate of Taytay, Philippines. Apostolic Vicariate of Tricor, India. Apostolic Vicariate of Vientiane, Laos, Africa. Apostolic Vicariate of Alexandria of Egypt. Apostolic Vicariate of Awassa, Ethiopia. Apostolic Vicariate of Benghazi, Libya. Apostolic Vicariate of more.The, Nigeria. Apostolic Vicariate of the Congo. Apostolic Vicariate of Dahomey. Apostolic Vicariate of Derna, Libya. Apostolic Vicariate of Donkorkrom, Ghana. Apostolic Vicariate of French Congard, or Lower Congo. Apostolic Vicariate of Francistown, Botswana. Apostolic Vicariate of Hara, Ethiopia. Apostolic Vicariate of Hosanna, Ethiopia. Apostolic Vicariate of Ingwavuma, South Africa. Apostolic Vicariate of Isiolo, Kenya. Apostolic Vicariate of Cameroon, Cameroon. Apostolic Vicariate of Kenya, Kenya. Apostolic Vicariate of Kimberley in Orange, South Africa. Apostolic Vicariate of Kontagora, Nigeria. Apostolic Vicariate of Makoko in Gabon. Apostolic Vicariate of Mekki, Ethiopia. Apostolic Vicariate of Montgard, Chad. Apostolic Vicariate of Nekemte, Ethiopia. Apostolic Vicariate of Northern Victoria, Nyanza. Apostolic Vicariate of Rodrigues, Mauritius. Apostolic Vicariate of Rundu, Namibia. Apostolic Vicariate of Sahara. Apostolic Vicariate of Senegambia. Apostolic Vicariate of Shire. Apostolic Vicariate of Sodo, Ethiopia. Apostolic Vicariate of Sudan, Central Africa. Apostolic Vicariate of Tripoli, Libya. Apostolic Vicariate of Union Yembe, Oceania. Apostolic Vicariate of Alexis Hafen. Apostolic Vicariate of Central Oceania. Apostolic Vicariate of Fiji. Apostolic Vicariate of Marquesas Islands. Apostolic Vicariate of New Pomerania. Apostolic Vicariate of Oriental Oceania. Apostolic Vicariate of Sandwich Islands. Apostolic Vicariate of Tahiti. Apostolic Vicariate of Western Oceania.